Listen and learn. Learn and listen. The facts are fun.
Okay, for those of you who may have fired up your Camtasia today, what you might have noticed is that if you are set to check for updates, you were notified that, hey, there's a new version of Camtasia out for you. And it is Camtasia 8.2. It's what's called a minor release. Okay, so periodically between major releases, like say between Camtasia 7 and Camtasia 8, that's a major release, they will come out with 8.1, or even in between those, 8.01 or 8.1.2, all that software junk. But they've released what they call a minor update called 8.2. All right, so here's the scoop. I went ahead and installed it, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But I had it launch Camtasia Studio after it finished the install, and this is what popped up. So it really kind of has to do with the new major feature that is in 8.2. It also includes a bunch of bug fixes and stuff like that, but generally, unless we're having a problem with something specific, we don't usually care too much about those or notice those bug fixes. But in this version, the big takeaway and the big thing is that we now have another storage device, if you will, and publication avenue. So when we go to produce a video, we now have another new option. And what it basically entails is that Camtasia includes now seamless integration with something called TechSmith Fuse and Google Drive, and you'll be able to work more efficiently. Wow, that sounds awesome. Basically, the bottom line is that you can now take videos or pictures from any mobile device that you have, pretty much. Any Apple device or any Android device, there's an app for both platforms called TechSmith Fuse. And what it does is it allows your mobile device to connect to Google Drive, which is, if you don't know what that is, it's basically just a big hard disk in the sky. And it's a very convenient way to put videos, any kinds of documents and stuff like that out in the cloud, and then be able to access and retrieve them from any other computer or device that you have. But basically, the bottom line is that there is now a way to get content, record video content with some of the awesome camera aspects of these mobile devices. The only video camera I use anymore is my iPod Touch, which is basically an iPhone without the phone, and my iPads, both my iPad 3 and my iPad mini. The most awesomest cameras going. Portable, they're high quality, they're just awesome. Take a little bit of a look at, I don't know, what it kind of looks like. The good news is you won't notice too much of a difference in the interface or anything like that. So I'm just going to kind of cut to the chase here. So for example, one situation here is I have a video, and this is it looks like a webinar invitation. Okay. And when you go now to File, Produce, and Share, what you're going to notice is, here's a new option here. I'll drop these down so you can see. Remember before we had share to YouTube, kind of handy, and share to screencast.com, also kind of handy. Now there's one called share to Google Drive. Okay, so what this means is that you can almost think of it as like YouTube, right? So YouTube is a place on the internet that you can send your videos. Well, I can now do the same thing by putting it up on my Google Drive. And let's just walk through that a second. So I haven't run this yet on this machine. That's why I kind of left it just in the updated state. So the very first time you click Next here, what's going to happen, it'll say sign in to Google Drive. And so what I'm going to do here is I'll just put in my password and sign in. And you will be prompted to give permission for all of this communication between Camtasia and Google-ness to happen. So I'm going to accept. And quite frankly, I don't know what the ramifications of all that privacy stuff is. And I'm not going to worry about it right now. So I'm going to give this a title. And I'm going to say finish. And what's going to happen is Camtasia will go through it, will render the project out, and it's going to basically send it up to my Google Drive. And I'll kind of show you what that is in just a second. Okay, so that's kind of one aspect of it. To me, and I've only been able to play with this just today because it just came out, but there's two main components here. One is that now I can put videos up on my Google Drive, and I can also take videos that are created on my mobile devices and connect them with Camtasia. In other words, easily with one click or one touch, I guess, would be the key there. Shoot a video on my mobile device, one touch, send it to Camtasia. So that's kind of the scoop there. So Roz asks, what is Google Drive? Roz, Google Drive is, let's take a look at that while this is kind of happening. Has anyone noticed that Google is got a lot of stuff going on, more so even lately? Oh, and wait a minute, more so lately that requires you to have a Google account, right? Can you create a YouTube account now, a new YouTube account without having a Google account, a Gmail account? No, you cannot. Have you noticed that this thing called Google Plus is now also a requirement for all of this? Now, Google has this plan, right? It's to connect all these different things and features and communications and collaboration together. I call Google Plus Google Glue. So here's kind of the scoop. So I'm at Google, and I'm going to go ahead and sign in, right? And then I'll show you. Now, you can have multiple accounts. I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my regular account here. And you might notice down at the bottom there it said one account for all things Google. Okay, and that's basically what I'm going to get. Let's take a look here. So this is Google Plus, and what you'll find is that there are just all different kinds of things that we're going to be starting to get into here. But what I'm interested in primarily is what's called apps. So I'm going to click on the little checkerboard thing here. And these are all things Google. And since I'm logged in, I am now glued to all of these different things. So let's go to Google Drive. Okay, Google Drive is a way for you to store all different kinds of things, again, up on Google servers. And you can see we use this kind of a lot in our business. And you can also share things. So for example, we have certain documents like our processes or our lists, tasks that we've created that we want, for example, Leslie, our admin, to do all the time. Well, we create a document, we put it up on Google Drive, and we share it. Okay, the thing with the Camtasia update is now you'll notice this. Oh, here's a video that was shared by TechSmith. In other words, it came from Camtasia, and let's just go ahead and click on that. Okay. Oh, voila, a new viewing experience on Drive. Instantly flip through all your content. Okay, I got it. I got it. Get off of me.
Award? I certainly hope not. I know.
So, yes, this video is on Google Drive. Okay, that's where it lives. But notice something. It looks like the YouTube player. Well, in fact, it is the same technology that the YouTube player uses. But guess what? It's not running off of YouTube, is it? It's running off of my Google Drive. Okay, so this is just one more place, one more thing I can kind of use to put videos. And that's my basic take on it. So does Google Drive replace Dropbox? Roz asks. Well, you can certainly use Google Drive for a lot of the same purposes. But here's the bottom line again, is that if I want to share anything on Google with somebody else, guess what I think they have to have, right? They have to have a Google account. So again, it's this tying of all things together. And let's kind of see where we're at here. Gosh, that's still going. I guess it's uploading. So what it's going to do is it's going to upload, and then just like on YouTube, it's going to render it or do some processing on it. Okay, I'm going to cancel that actually. But that's basically it. I mean, there's not a ton to that until the other part to that, of course, is your mobile devices. So let's see if we can kind of pull this off. I'm going to go to TechSmith here. And after you install the update, of course, a browser window will open, or tab will open, saying, thanks for installing Camtasia Studio. let's go ahead and go to just the tutorials. Here's the series. Let's go down here. Here we go, connecting your mobile devices. It's really just kind of a quick overview here. So it's just a little 2-minute overview, and it does a really good job of kind of explaining what the scoop is here. Okay, so what is this thing called Fuse, how to install it, and things like that. You can get it from Google Play or on the App Store. And the only real thing that you need to make sure is that your device is somehow connected to your Camtasia computer. And basically that works, at least in my case here, just wirelessly. You know, it's on my wireless network, so I can actually get to it and all that good stuff. So on my iPad here, I have installed Fuse. I'm going to see if I can show my iPad on my screen here for you guys. To do that, I'm going to use a cool app called Reflector. And basically what Reflector does is it lets me connect to my iPad via something called AirPlay. And it's going to mirror whatever I see on my iPad right on my desktop here, at which point I could record it with Camtasia or other things. Okay, so now down here, there's this little thing running in the background called Reflector. And on my iPad, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just swipe up from the bottom, and now that Reflector is running, I have the option to touch AirPlay. I'm going to, you'll be able to see this in just a minute. And I'm going to pick the computer that I connect to show, and I'm going to mirror my display. How sweet is this? Okay, so to get this to run, I basically just took my finger and you do a sweep up from the bottom. Now this is in iOS 7. It's different in the earlier versions, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a Mac guy. Just push up from the bottom with my finger, and then this little icon here called AirPlay pops up. Well, if you touch that, then you can say, oh, you want to connect to a computer, and this is the name of my computer here running Reflector. Okay, so in other words, Reflector runs in the background and it says, anybody there? Anybody there? Anybody want to let me reflect their screen on my screen? Okay, so it's oh yeah, Beast is running Reflector, and then you just slide this little switch that does the mirroring. Okay, so let's take a look here, and I'll slide this down, and you guys should be seeing everything that's happening on my iPad right now. I'm going to swipe, okay, right, da-da, da-da. How cool is that? We could whip into a GarageBand session or whatever I see on my iPad, you guys should be seeing. Okay, so anyway, I went to the App Store and I downloaded this thing called Fuse. So let's launch that. And basically, what it did was it went onto my device here and it looked for all of my videos and pictures, right? So, gosh, I don't think I have any video on this one. I pulled them all off, I think. Let me click that. Oh, I'm trying to click on my computer screen. I think I'll touch over here on my iPad. This one. There we go. Okay, so that's a silly little video of some type, right? So here I have a video that I shot, and I don't know, let's just see what happens. I have not tried this yet, so I'm going to push the Camtasia option right here, and let's see what happens. Camtasia. Oh, connect to Camtasia. Okay, connecting. So this is the cam on my device shooting out the back. Hello, everybody. Hi. Hi, everybody. So I could be shooting a video. Okay, how to connect to Camtasia. Connect your computer and mobile device to the same Wi-Fi. Open the Camtasia editor on your computer. Go to File, Connect Mobile Device. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go to File, Connect Mobile Device, and we'll see if it can find it. Install Fusion. I did that. Connect your computer to the same network. Open Fusion. Select an image or video to send. Tap Camtasia. I did that. Point your camera at the QR code below. Okay. I have it in a docking station. I'm going to have to pull it out. And I don't know. I guess I'll try to point it. It's trying to read the QR code. Boom! It did it. It read the QR code and pulled in the video. There it is. How cool is that? So that's a little bit of an overview. Let's just play that. I guess I'd have to flip it. Let's drop it on the timeline. Now that's probably just the way I shot the video or something. I don't know. Let's drop it on the timeline and see what happens. Here, of course, I could just rotate it. There we go. And I could resize it or whatever I want to do. Boom. So that was about the easiest connection from a mobile device right into Camtasia for editing that I've ever seen. Nice, huh? All right. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. Well, that's a little bit of an overview anyway. I'll be playing with it more, certainly, and I encourage everyone else to kind of do the same. It was pretty slick and easy. Let's see if my reflector is still up. Yep, there it is. Oh, it even changes perspective. I'm going to tilt my iPad. See that? It changed. Reflector rocks.